Bianca and Nacho home from London. Great to have a conversation on customer success and placing customers at the heart of your business.
Yeah, thanks for inviting us. Super excited to be first time in Autumn Fair, first time speaking here as well. So we're Home from London. We're Bianca and Nacho. We're the founders of Home from London. Home from London was actually a blog that we created to keep in touch with friends and family 6 years ago when we moved to London. So instead of putting pictures all over the place, we just put it on a blog and people would follow it. But then soon after that, I wanted to start something on my own. And Nacho gave me an art kit so I could start drawing again, my first birthday in London. And the first collection came out very touristy, all London inspired, the London icons, the landmarks. And it kind of became, to Home from London, the brand that is a souvenir brand now.
Hi guys, yeah, very nice to be here. I'm Nacho, and as Bianca said, we are running to Home from London together.
So you said you started as a way to keep up with friends and family abroad.
Yeah.
And the business has grown quite rapidly.
Yeah.
So can you speak a bit about the different locations that you now have and how you have different customers coming to those locations as well?
Yeah, so at the moment we have 5 points of sales, 3 of them in Camden and 2 of them in Portobello Road in Notting Hill. But then in Christmas we pretty much doubled that footprint, so Christmas is a very busy time of the year for us, I guess for many of you as well. So we do a lot of Christmas markets as well and pop-ups in November and December, so we're going to have this year 12 points of sales running for Christmas.
Yeah, 13, and we're just opening a pop-up in St. Pancras International as well, so we're excited.
It's awesome looking place.
Yeah.
So do you have different customers visit those different locations?
Yeah, I think each location is quite unique kind of customer base, but especially, for example, in the likes of Portobello and Camden, they're a bit more touristy. So you have this huge amount of people from different countries coming in, and then in Spitalfields was a bit something more local with more residents. And Camden now that they've been redeveloping the place to bring a lot of locals back as well. But I think in the profile, yeah, it's a bit diverse in each one of them.
And how do you, I guess, relate your experience and your products to these different kind of customers that are visiting you?
I think in the way we do our offering to them. So we have a lot of different designs, and then we have a lot of bundling within our shop. We do a lot of mixing and matching within the shop. And because many of the designs actually represent British culture and represent an experience that people had while in London, we let them pick and choose as well and put together the gift or the souvenir that represents their experience. So for example, we sell coasters. We have about 80 different designs for coasters. We have a big wall, and then we let them mixing and matching. So you see people all the time saying, "Oh, let's get this one because we were there yesterday," or "Let's get this one because," and then they brings back their memories and their experience in London. And the same with many different products. So letting the customer pick and choose already lets them reflect their experience in the shop.
I guess maybe this one's maybe for you, Bianca, but how do you develop these different products and these different offerings that you're giving to your customers?
Yeah, actually I think starting from just a stall in Portobello Market 6 years ago to having this 13 points of sale now in Christmas. From the beginning I could always have direct customer feedback and inputs as well, so I could easily see if this first collection was working or not, what were people opinions about it, and they would all give me instant feedback being in the market. Because I think different from many brands who start doing wholesale and go to retail afterwards, maybe opening a shop, we started the other way around. So we started in the market stall, but it was already giving us a lot of inputs and feedback. So I would take these from customers and they say, oh, maybe I see that they would like to mix and match products with the same colors. So I started creating a range a bit more with colors that would go well across ranges. And then they would ask me, oh, but when are we gonna have like a thick modern coaster, or like they always ask you for things that represent their experience. And me as a designer, we had this flexibility to expand our collections based on what people were requesting from us.
Yeah, just a little anecdote on that. So sometimes people request lots of different things that they get into the shop, get inspired, and want some designs. And then in one particular case, one of our staff from one of our shops really wanted for us, for Bianca to make a specific design. And then we said, okay, if you get 100 signatures from customers that says, I want this design,
we're gonna do it.
We'll do it. And then she came 1 week later, here, 100 signatures.
And I said, okay, now I have to make it.
So you speak about your staff there, and then empowering your staff to, I guess, be brand ambassadors for London. How do you do that? Is it through your hiring? Is it through training? Is it always ongoing?
Definitely recruiting is the most difficult bit of running a business like this, that is consumer facing or running a shop. And you can spend as much time as you want in finding the perfect place, the perfect assortment, great decoration. But if the person that is inside the shop doesn't make it click and it's not in sync to what we want to transmit as a brand, it really doesn't work. So I spend personally a lot of time on recruiting, on finding the right people, and then yes, supporting them along the way, and really quickly setting expectations as well, so we kind of like a clear ground for work as well. But yes, it's something that when you get it right, it's great, and you're very happy, and when you get it wrong, you need to keep trying until...
Yeah, and I think especially for independents, it's such an important role to bring inside your own business, no? So for me, I remember when I hired my first assistant to help me in Portobello Market, it was like 5 years ago. And a lot of traders were asking me, but how are you going to hire someone to help you? But how can you trust them with money, with like handling stuff, or to be there for you? And I said, well, if you don't trust, you can never grow, right? Because I cannot do this by myself forever if I want to grow. So, but it's a lot of trust that you put in the person there representing you. And for us, it was always important so that our employees could have our vision of the business, and I think in the hiring process there's a lot of that, but also on your day-to-day, on how you relate with your staff. For example, we have like now we have 13 people working with us, like permanently, and we have a WhatsApp group that everybody chats there. And for example, if Nacho and I are traveling, they're going to support each other because they know that in the group somebody will be able to help them. And it's a very dynamic thing, you know, and sometimes if somebody works in Spitalfields, so they don't necessarily know the team working in Portobello, but it's the way that they can get to know each other and collaborate. And sometimes if somebody's sick, they will ask you guys, can you please cover for me? So we give the freedom for our employees to do that, you know, and I think it's very important from where we are now.
And I guess with that freedom, what's some of the insights you get from them on your customers, or some of the things they might try in the stores?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah, we get a ton of ideas. That's the best thing actually of also being a mix of creative studio. We make our own things, but we have our own shops as well, and that's invaluable information that you get inside from your people, but also from customers being just there. We're very open as well. We're always listening, because that's how we also can get to stuff that people really are really interested in.
Yeah, because on the moment that we stopped being ourselves in the shop, right, the person working there is the one getting the direct feedback from the customers. So it's not that like Nacho and I were never in the shops anymore, but whenever we know that the people there, because we train them to be aware of this and to pass this information to us, they are saying every day, like there's something, guys, like somebody requested a coaster about this, or have you thought about a mug with that? So, and I think for us it's really fulfilling to see that our employees are that engaged, you know, with our customers and with the company as well.
And with your growth, you obviously have an online channel now as well.
Yeah.
So how do you manage that customer experience, both in-store, online, and through your staff as well?
First, there are some visual elements. So we always want to kind of create a very neat and experience across platforms. So our shops are all very like white, very minimalistic, with a few elements that actually visually relate to the brand. And online we do the same thing, so we have a very neat kind of minimalistic website, and we let the products stand out. As you can see, the products are quite colorful on their own, so we just let everything plain white and let the products stand out for themselves.
Yeah.
So visually the online shop and the offline look very similar, and then in how customers interact with us is also a similar experience. So the same way that we want our staff in the shops to be welcoming, positive all times, we do the same online. So every time we get a query or we deal with the way we deal with orders, it's always fresh, always welcoming, positive.
Yeah, it's funny actually, because now that we are not physically there, the way that we interact the most with our customers is online via social media. So we're very active on social media, and like Anto said, like we try to create the brand identity. It's like very strong, so people can recognize it across the market, but also that they can relate to us as a brand, not only as me as a designer, etc. And that's what we're doing that's why we're very active on social media, on Instagram. So in a way, how we interact the most with our followers base. So everybody's like sending me messages on Instagram asking me about like, oh, when are you going to do this and that. So even though I'm not there in the shop, they reach out to us now on Instagram, for example.
Or people that have requested a design in the shop,
oh,
and then we launched it. So we did one with the Spice Girls now, we launched the 5 designs. And when we posted, okay, we have this new collection, there were people on the comments, thank you guys for listening to us, and that translated into online sales actually. Because people that maybe were in the shop but they don't live in London, they can go back to the shop.
Yeah, so exactly that. So if you have like that's actually the first full-time person that we hired to be in the backstage with us in the studio team was a visual designer to help me create the brand identity, to put it out there. And this reflects in people who saw our shop in Camden. They got our card there because our staff is instructed to give a card with our store, telling our story to each and every customer who stops by. So they're going to get this card later, see, oh, Bianca, Tom London was creative carnival, blah, 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 and this is what we do. And then they check us online or our Instagram, they see our feed, so they start following us, and then they start interacting. They saw that we launched a new collection that they requested before, so you create this kind of
constant
interaction, yeah.
And what are some of the maybe the tools that you're using a lot? So you said Instagram there. Anything else that you're using to really kind of speak with your customers day in, day out?
I think mostly now we're focusing on Instagram. Yeah, we're in all of them: Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter. But I think the one that we're getting the most engagement is from Instagram. Yeah.
And what do you find, I guess, difficult at the moment when it comes to customer service? Is it the staffing that's the real difficult thing? Obviously,
yeah.
the market's changing, the market's moving to kind of experience retail, so the consumers are demanding like great experiences from all the stores that they're walking into. So what do you find is maybe like the couple of things that are quite difficult at this moment in time?
Recruiting 100%. So staffing is the most difficult. Yes, I think in the concept that we want to transmit, the identity, how do we want the shops to look like, the assortment, we're pretty confident that we are doing somehow a good job. But staffing is a constant challenge, because also it's not only hiring the right people, but also how you keep the people engaged, motivated, always shining and reflecting what you want to reflect after a few months, that they're in the business. So definitely staffing is
and I think that for us it was one of our top priorities this year, was to invest more on the team and to get like better results from the team as well. So to give you an example, after the Christmas season, that is like crazy busy season for us, we stopped. We sat down together. We say, okay, we need like to get like a really big, like a strong team for next year, because we're gonna do this jump, and as a structure in the company. So we need people to perform better, to be more engaged, blah blah blah. So it's like from very basic things. From before we were paying like the minimum salary, but then we raised it for like a little bit the wages, no, and then this just already gave like a bigger motivation. We started paying like higher commission, and also I think it's like the whole combination of how you make them feel, you know, welcome, that they're heard, that they see the suggestions that they make are being like transformed into actions in the shop. So whenever, and now we have like really good team that whenever they're in the shop, you know, they feel like it's their own space, you know. And training, I think, is one of the most important things. That's like Nacho said, like to keep it up and always
make time for it as well, because there's so many things going on within the business as well, like managing the growth and all the different aspects of running the back end of the business, and making sure you have enough time to at least spend some time with your staff. Just the contact, just being together in the shop makes a lot of difference.
You go in the shop, and sometimes whenever we always spend some time with the people in the shop as well, to show them how we sell. You know, like what is our style? Because sometimes it's funny, because sometimes you get people with a lot of retail experience. For example, we have people who have worked in luxury brands, for example, but they come in and they are still surprised by, you know, like how we do in the shops, because I think we've been there for 5 years ourselves, so we know what works, and passing on this knowledge and showing them like this actually works if you follow this, and they see the results, and it just like improve more and more.
What's the next stage for you and the company, do you think?
Well, keep growing for now. I mean, in all channels. So now we're looking at, this year is the first year that we're looking at 3 channels pretty seriously. Before, most of our business was actually offline, so in our own points of sale, offline physical shops. But this year we started to seriously put plans to grow online much more, and also in wholesale. So one of the reasons why we're here as well, to try to expand our wholesale business. So yeah, let's keep growing these 3 channels.